Hello, everybody. It is me, Demetra K, and I am sitting here by myself. As normally this time it would be Donovan and I's podcast, but because we're getting old, I had to go to the doctor this morning, and then he has to go to the doctor this afternoon. So we decided we'd get together at 5 o'clock Central Time to actually do, our regular live show, whatever the case is. But I decided that I would come on here anyway, for real, just for a half an hour for a whole host of reasons. But I wanted to talk about, because this is what we were going to talk about, the Shannon Sharpe situation, if you will. Of course, I get into that in just a second, give everybody else a few more moments to come on here. But hey, LaShonda, how you doing? I should say that the purpose of the Demetra K Show is to promote Black love, knowledge, and understanding of all things that go on in the Black community to make us an even better people, with the emphasis on even, because we're great people, but we can always strive to do better. Like to say a big giant thank you, hello, and welcome to Facebook and YouTube. You are the other side of the conversation, and you are, yes, indeed, family. Of course, I will not be sharing the link today. In fact, I haven't shared the link in a long time. I guess it's time that I do it. I invite you guys up to speak your piece. But we want to do it today. Magnetta, how you doing? Carmen, what's going on with you? Opal, I hope you're having a great day. Again, just giving everybody else a moment to come on. The situation we're going to talk about is unfolding, I guess, moment by moment. I'm actually going to show you guys a video that Shannon put out on his social media feeds, maybe about an hour or so ago at this point, of him basically claiming that it's a shakedown. And some of y'all probably like, well, what is he being shaken down for? Again, I'm going to get into all of that in about 20 more seconds or so. I guess there's a whole lot we could talk about when we come back at 5 p.m. Central Time. So it just remains to be seen. I haven't really been in the news cycle like that myself. When I left off of here on Sunday, I did not realize that I was sick. I had like a little, which is probably why I was acting crazy on here last Sunday. Nah, that's who I am normally. But I guess I had like a little flu or something. Right after I logged off, I had the chills. I had body aches and sore throat. And the craziest thing is, when I woke up Monday morning, my throat wasn't sore anymore. I still kind of felt weird, but the pains and stuff went away. So I don't know what happened. As my daughter says, you have a weird immune system. I was like, yeah, I guess I do. Big Rich, how you doing? Hope you're doing well. And Magnetic says, I haven't really followed the Shannon Sharpe issue. Well, I guess a lot of people probably really haven't, because it seemed like it broke yesterday, late morning of the situation. So for the sake of time, I'll go ahead and get into it. Of course, everybody else come on here, and then we can go from there. Again, only trying to be on here about a half an hour so I can reserve my energy for the show later on. All right. So yesterday I would say about 11 or so. Hey, Hero, I saw this. And so basically what happened is NFL Hall of Famer, ESPN analyst Shannon Sharpe. You guys know who Shannon Sharpe is. He has Club Shay Shay. He infamously interviewed that of Cat Williams, and it went uber viral. And from that point, Shannon went up a couple of notches, right? Because he has his show every Wednesday, and typically he interviews somebody else. Last Wednesday, I saw that he interviewed Bobby Brown. I haven't watched that yet, but I'm sure it's pretty interesting. But nevertheless, he is facing a $50 million civil lawsuit filed in Nevada by a woman identified as Jane Doe. And he's going to tell you her name in just a minute on the video I'm going to show you. It says the lawsuit was filed on April 20th, 2025 this year. Accuses Sharpe of, assaulting her in, one of the worst ways that you can. Battery, intentional infliction of emotional distress, and recording intimate encounters without consent during their nearly 2-year relationship. Okay. Now it also says, according to the complainant, the woman who met Shannon Sharpe in 2023. Now this is saying when she's 22, but it sounds like the complaint says she's 20. Just put that out there. Okay. Alleges that the relationship became increasingly controlling and abusive. She claims that Sharpe assaulted her multiple times, including incidents in Las Vegas in October 2024 and again in January 2025. The lawsuit also alleges that Sharpe threatened her, including a statement where he allegedly says, and this is a quote, "If you ever do that again, I will effing you." Okay. Now, Shannon Sharpe's attorney, Lanny J. Davis, has vehemently denied the allegations, calling them false and an attempt to blackmail. Davis asserts that Sharpe plans to fight the charges in court and anticipates full vindication. Now, the plaintiff is represented by Tony Buzbee, who is an attorney here infamously in Houston, and he just got through trying to shake down Jay-Z about 2 months ago or so, saying that Jay-Z did something horrible to a 13-year-old years and years ago with P. Diddy. Of course, that was debunked, and Jay-Z went at him with everything that he had, and it sounds like Jay-Z is suing Tony Buzbee, and he called him an ambulance chaser and all of that. Nevertheless, that particular lawsuit was dropped against that of Jay-Z. Okay, so that's who Tony Buzbee is. He's known for handling high-profile sexual misconduct cases. Now, as of now, no criminal charges have been filed, and the case remains a civil matter. The legal proceedings are ongoing, and further developments are expected as the case progresses. All right. So the gist of that is he allegedly did something horrible to a woman, and she's now suing him for $50 million civilly. No criminal lawsuit has been leveled or anything like that. They want 50 large ones, okay? Now, I'm going to show y'all the video that he put up that I saw on his Instagram about an hour or so ago. So here we go.
Friends, supporters, and colleagues, I want to speak to you directly and from the heart. This is a shakedown. I'm going to be open, transparent, and defend myself because this isn't right. I'll be Tony Buzbee, who was targeted Jay-Z. Tony Buzbee targets black men, and I believe he's going to release a 30-second clip of a sex tape that tries to make me look guilty and play into every stereotype you could possibly imagine. That video should actually be 10 minutes or so. Hey, Tony, instead of releasing your edit, put the whole video out. I don't have it, or I would myself. You know what happened, and you're trying to manipulate the media. The encounter in question took place during the day at her invitation, and now that appears to be a deliberate setup, coordinated by Gabby, also known as Carly, on OnlyFans. Gabby and Tony Buzbee want $50 million. What they're getting is sued for defamation and trying to take me down. My career is all about real talk and honesty. I know my family and fans know exactly what this is about. And I'm going to be out there telling you whatever I need to say, just like I always do. I love all you guys. Thanks.
All right, so let's go ahead and remove Mr. Sharpe. I saw somebody's comment. Okay, so I'll remove him. So yesterday, his lawyer also put out some of the, I guess, excerpt from their text messages, they being the woman. He said Gabby, she goes by Carly on OnlyFans, okay? But her name is Gabriella Zuniga. That's what Shannon Sharpe and his lawyer said. Now, some of the text messages, I'm going to read them as much as I can. They're pretty graphic, right? So this is what he is saying she said to him in the text. I want you to put a dog collar around my neck and choke me with it while you are me, okay? And the strongest word to that you can think of. And then she also says, now that was in October of 2023, she said that to him. And then she says this, I know you missed this big, juicy peach. And then she says $25,000 for each cheek. Now it sounds like she sent him that text message on January 1st of this year. Okay. So again, Shannon is alleging that it's a shakedown. Her and Tony Buzbee are now shaking him down for 50 very large ones. Now, of course, you guys heard him say that they're going to sue her. And I guess Tony at this point for defamation because he's saying none of this is true. Now, before I came on here, I did hear a recording that TMZ released, and I guess it was the recording that he's talking about. It was about 1 minute and 45 seconds long. Shannon is saying it should be about 10 minutes long. But in the recording, he did say it was kind of a really slow conversation, really. And she does sound really young. She's like, and I'm paraphrasing, but why are you mad? That's kind of, that's how she talks. Why are you mad? And then he says something, I don't know, you can tell it's kind of irritated. And then he and I'm paraphrasing, so forgive me, it's not in order, but he basically says, yeah, basically you keep on, I'm going to choke the ish out of you. She goes, oh my God, why are you going to do that? And then she says that he called him manipulative. And she says, I don't want to be choked when you see me. And he says, well, it's going to happen and you don't have a choice in the matter, right? I don't know if they were role playing or what, but you could kind of tell she was really on a fishing mission, if you will, because why would you record that? You know what I mean? And let's keep it a buck. I probably within the last 2 weeks told 5 people I'm going to choke you. Did I do it? No, right? Donovan is one of them. I tell him I'm going to choke him once a week for whatever. But so with that, he's claiming a shakedown. Okay. If you ask me, I'm not a legal expert. I wasn't there, thank God. I think it's a shakedown. Because if you did that to me, I'm calling the police, okay? Now, you said he threatened you in October. And this is what she's kind of saying, right? Within the lawsuit and stuff. And then he threatened you again this year, or he did these things to you rather, okay? Last year and then this year. Why did you go back for the second time? Because I'm thinking if he did that to you the first time, I think that'd be enough, you know? But as he said too, she's an OnlyFans chick. And again, I'm not saying those things can't happen to those type of women, but I don't know. Then you're telling him you want $25,000 for each booty cheek. Sounds like Shannon Sharpe was also paying for it at one time or another. I don't know. Maybe he didn't want to pay no more. Of course, y'all heard too, was it last year, that he accidentally went live on Instagram and he was doing some things that we cannot erase from our memory to a chick named Michelle. Now, the girl that in question is Gabriela Zuniga, so I'm assuming maybe she's Hispanic, right? Doesn't sound like Shannon likes the sisters too much, although sounds like his 3 children, who I learned yesterday, are all 32 years old. All of his children are 32 years old. From what I understand, he had a child in, was like October of 92, November of 92. That wasn't my middle finger, it's my other finger. And December of 92. So Shannon, you know, he gets around a little bit, to say the least. Now, Shannon is going to be 57 years old at the end of this year. They're saying the chick is 20. Some saying she's 22. I don't know. She's 22 young. Let's put it that way. So I want to get into you guys' comments. And I'll say what I got to say before I get to you guys' comments. My thing is this, because I know there's a lot of people arguing whether it's legal. And y'all know my stance on this already. I think you do. Yes, it's legal to be with a woman, I should say, who's 20 or 22, even though he's 56. That's legal. But I want to get into the moral aspect of it. I want to know, and we're talking about Shannon, okay? What is a 56-year-old man doing with a 20-year-old woman? We know what he's doing, okay? But what did you think she was going to do? You know what I mean? You weren't trying to marry this woman. You were using her as a plaything and all this other stuff. So it's like, I don't know, if I'm a 50-something-year-old man and I got millions and millions and millions of dollars, I'm going to do what we call in public relations foreseeability, right? I'm going to look into the future. This is a young woman, but a girl regarding him. If I just use her, and she's an OnlyFans model, whatever, he's paying her for the whatever, might she be looking for something else? Now, they broke it off for whatever reason. I don't know. Maybe he was just done with her, whatever the case is. But maybe she's like, if I'm Shannon, is she going to be mad that I end this with her? Is she going to say I did something to her that I didn't do, not in a malicious way, right? Like, I'm thinking of all these things. And I'm thinking, what is it going to cost me if this goes left? Because as he said, Tony is trying to shake down another black man. And listen, I totally agree with that. I think a lot of them see these successful black men and they're like, yeah, okay, did he kind of do it to you? Yeah. All right, bet. Let's get up the paperwork. And what they normally do is they'll go to that person and say, hey, we got a little tape. We got a tape, but you on here talking about you gonna choke her. So for $50 million, and to save your reputation, of course, we'll make this go away. Now, of course, if we got to go public, then you might lose your job at Disney, ESPN, your popular show, Club Shay Shay, might take a hit, and all of the things you're doing. So, let's settle. Why don't we? And of course, Shannon's like, no. But back to my original point. You're a 56-year-old man. What are you doing with a woman that's 20 years old? See, and I'm going to say this, and brothers, I love you. This is, we talking about Shannon right now. At some point in time, some of y'all got to grow up. Some of y'all got to grow up. Now, I remember when Monique was on the show, and she said, Shannon, you need you, and I'm paraphrasing, a big country girl that, a woman your age that's going to cook for you and take care of you. I'll leave these young girls alone. That's what she said to him. Leave these young girls alone. Now, it sounds like him and this chick been messing around for 2 years, so they were together when Monique was saying that. So Shannon already knew he was messing with somebody who was younger than his children. And so like, no, he's not married. But I just like it. You got more to lose than her. At what point do men like him grow up and say, okay, 20 is a lot of trouble. Hell, there's some women our age, right? I don't want to say, oh, I'm 54. That's some trouble. But a 20-year-old, that's a lot of trouble. Now, for me, I don't think he did it. I really don't think Shannon did that. But to me, now he's got a moral set of eyes looking at him like, man, what's wrong with you? And my other thing is this, and I'm going to shut up and I'm going to get in the comment section. I want to ask the men this. When and if y'all have a homie that says, hey, man, and I'm going to get down to the nitty gritty. Hey, man, I got some 20-year-old skins. I'm clapping them cheeks. What runs through your mind when your homie that's 56 years old is telling you that he is having those relations with a 20-year-old? Do you, oh man, do she got a sister? Or are you saying, man, I don't think you really should be doing that? Hell, your kids is older than her. I got questions. Anyway, I'm gonna shut up. I'm getting to the comment section while I get in trouble. Anyway, let's see who's on here. I said I'm gonna do 30 minutes. Let's see if this is gonna happen. Okay. Brother Don, how you doing? Emma, what's going on with you? Said, nah, I ain't catching no COVID. I don't even be around people like that. I don't think I did, but I feel much better now. Y'all can hear it in my voice. It's still a little bit, but I didn't catch COVID. I don't think. Hey, Pop, how you doing? I know you're going to come and behave or not. Rodney, how you doing? Hope you're doing well. Nyla, what's going on with you? Son, like, no, he is not married. I don't know if Shannon's ever been married. I don't know if he ever has been. GP, what's going on with you? Says, seems I've arrived early on. Yes, you have. Can't stay long. I have only 10 minutes left on break. What's up? Probably gone now, but hope you're having a great day. Jerron, how you doing? It says, do not pay anything because it will never stop. He is dumb if he was paying her for that, anyway, giving her outrageous money. Yeah, I'm sure he was. Sure, he was giving her, handbags and all kinds of stuff. She's 20, 22, I don't know. She's just, if you listen to her, she's like, why are you mad at me? It's just man, that would get on my nerves. And maybe it did, Shannon. And he was like, okay, what am I doing? Sunlight says, Peach, yeah. He says, wait, is this a black woman, Shannon Sharpe? No, she's like she's Hispanic. And I saw some pictures. I don't want to put a picture out because it might be the wrong one, right? But this particular woman looks like she's Hispanic. Now, she's on OnlyFans. There's some Hispanic women with some big booties. But maybe she's had a BBL or something like that. But I said Peach because the technical word is, I didn't want to say it on here, but I cleaned it up by saying peach, booty, for lack of better words. Freddie B, what's going on with you back there? Says, I've had supervisors threaten to choke me, drop kick me, fire me. It was all in a joke, right? Yeah. Like I said, I threaten people, at least 3, 4, 5 people a week. I'm going to choke you. You're going to get choked. Or, I got little younger nieces and nephews. I joke with, I'm going to whoop you when I see you, right? Never does that happen. So, I don't know. Donna C, what's going on with you? Says these black men better be careful out here. He needs wisdom. Yeah. But, Shannon Sharpe is kind of like the voice of wisdom, I would think, and admittedly, he's very open with his sex life. He talks a lot about it here and there on different shows with him and Ocho Cinco and things like that. So I don't think he's a prude or anything. But it's like you said, where's the wisdom, man? You 56, finna be 57, and you messing with a 20-year-old? Okay. Michelle, he says these celebrities need to stop messing with these young girls. It's sickening. 20 is young. It's young, King Shaw, how you doing? He says messing with them snow bunnies. He FAFO. Dr. Umar warned him. Yeah, and I want to say this too. Admittedly, that could happen with the sisters, that could happen, but it seems like it happens quite a bit with them, I don't know. Sunlight says, "Oh, okay, Latina, tell me something." And King Noble, how you doing? Says 92 was a year for Uncle Shannon. You ain't lying. You had a baby every 3 months, the same year. No, every month, once a month, October, November, and December. That means you was knocking down 3 women at least unprotected. That's nasty. Donna, you says he too old for this foolishness. Totally agree. Sunlight says midlife crisis. It could be, but what's it gonna cost you? Because even if it doesn't pay any money, is it gonna cost you your reputation? Like, I'm looking at him like, ew, a 20-year-old. I know she's legal, but, and forgive me, y'all, I think that's very perverted for a man that old to be, even if she is an OnlyFans, whatever, she's still 20. It's perverted. Sunlight says they can't handle getting old. Donna says Monique told him you better get an older woman. Yep, know how to make peach cobbler or something, right? But nah, maybe he will now. Robin S, how you doing? He says, who's the owner of the football team that's dating the 26-year-old? Belichick. He's a coach of the New England Patriots. Yeah, that's young, but I don't know. It sounds like she's his fiance. I'm not. The difference is this. They're both young. I don't encourage a man to be with a woman that young. But if you are, this is a but and however, if you are, don't make her your plaything, because she don't know how to handle being, okay, I'm done with you, bye. Of course, she's probably going, what? Because she liking the trip. She probably ain't never had no baller spend no money on her like that. So you probably taking her here, you spending money on her. She eating at places she can't even pronounce, right? And then you drop her like a hot potato. So yeah, she probably like, oh, he did something to me. But really it's rejection, right? But I say all that to say, because Bill Belichick, is that his name? Sounds like he's trying to marry this 26-year-old with his 70-some-year-old self. Maybe he's like, I'm not going to be here long. And then the time that I'm here, I want to, I don't know. But yeah. Pop says he is resowing his old oats. You ain't lying. Donna says, exactly. We have to, too many examples for this to continue. Yep. Human, how you doing? Says, yeah, Bill Belichick. Thank you. Roz, what's going on with you? Michelle says the press secretary who believe yes, is 28. I just learned that too. Her husband is a 60-year-old man who gave $60 million to Trump campaign. She married a sugar daddy. Her married last name is Riccio. Yeah, I heard that the other day that the press secretary, she's young and she's with an older cat. Yeah. King Noble says they need to stay away from these non-black women, but they won't do it. Them women wouldn't look their way if they weren't rich. Yeah, I mean, Shannon Sharpe, no shade to him. Nice man. He's not terrible looking, but ain't no 20-year-old looking at him in Walmart. She not. She gonna be like, ew. Yeah, Magneto, it's bribery. In my non-legal opinion, it's bribery. It's a shakedown. And the thing is a lot of men who are shaken down, they just pay it. Because they're like, oh my God, I don't want my reputation. I'm just gonna pay it and it'll go away, right? But a lot of men now are like, I'm not doing it. You can tell all you want. Oh, okay, gave $5 million. I was like, ooh, $60 million is a lot of money. Aaron, how you doing? Hope you're doing well. Let's see who else came on here. And Carmen says yes, and Aaron says it is. And let's see here. Hero says y'all grown. Yeah, I always say y'all grown. We talk about 20 or 20 is chronologically grown. But Hero, I don't know how old you are, but would you be rolling around the sack with a 20-year-old who is chronologically grown, but is she mentally grown? Is she emotionally grown? Hell, there's a lot of people our age, and when I say my age in the 50s, that aren't emotionally grown. They should be, but they're not. So I wouldn't expect for a 20-year-old to be emotionally grown, mentally grown. I wouldn't expect her to be. She don't know what she don't know yet. She's been here 20 years, and most of that she was in high school, junior high, elementary. You don't even graduate college at 20 unless you're a prodigy or you went in early or something. I don't know. So yeah, Big Rich says that is very nasty because I have a 20-year-old. I could never do that to someone's child because I wouldn't want them to do that to mine. Morals. That's morals. You think about morally, right? I have a child that's 20, and I'm sure you would put your hands around his neck area if she came home and said, Dad, I'm going to introduce you to this, and he's 56, or Daddy, I was with a 56-year-old and he just treated me like a trampoline and dumped me. You wouldn't be happy about that, Trying to find out how you doing says wet or white women that you crazy. Thank you, Sunlight. I keep it up because it's hot and I don't feel like combing it no more. Ronnie says, I would tell him that he is too old. So I'm seeing the fellas saying, yeah, they check him. GP says, I'm out of here. But speaking of Demetri choking someone, I personally wouldn't, you know what, you're crazy. I got a pretty strong grip. As y'all saw me choke my raccoon the other day. Magnetic says you don't condone it. Okay. Donna C says Shannon loves snow buddies. Yeah. But wow. He's Sunlight says Shannon was married at one point to a white woman. I thought, okay, I don't know. I thought he was never married. No, he was with I think her name was Kelly. It was a white woman named Kelly for a long time. And I think she cheated on him or something from what I remember him saying. But yeah, so maybe he was married to her. Jerron says, I will tell my friend that they have nothing in common and ask how much money they're spending. Yeah, because she probably ain't letting them do it to her for free. He also says, I ignore all young females trying to flirt with me. Yeah, but like you better go on and play hopscotch somewhere. Bernard, how you doing? He says, why these ball players keep putting themselves in this situation? Yeah, you would think they would learn. Yeah, she's 20, she's cute, she's got a nice body, but it's gonna cost you more than money, potentially. She's doing, I don't want to say 20-year-olds do those things, but she's thinking, okay, I'm gonna get some revenge. I'm gonna get some get back. How dare you do this to me? I'll show you. And then she gets up with the likes of Tony Buzbee, and he's like, oh, for real, what you would think he would learn? Like, man, nah, I'm being sued by Jay-Z. I might not even be in business after he's done with me. Let me leave it alone. But then on the other hand, maybe he's like, okay, I need some money because Jay-Z is suing me. I don't know. Pete, how you doing? Says, hey, D, I have to ask, what's wrong with you? To each his own, but it's just wrong. He says, you would say you'd have to ask what's wrong with you. To each his own, but it's just wrong. Too old for that. Yeah, I agree with you. Again, legally, you can do what you want, but morally, I would frown at a woman that was 50-something years old messing with a 20-year-old guy. If one of my homegirls said, man, this 20-year-old came up to me and, I'd be like, you high? Like, why? What are you doing? You wrong. That's somebody's kid. That would be me. Hey, Cynthia, how you doing? Hope you're doing well. Sunlight says, I recall there being a rumor that Shannon was flimsy. All these women could, he says, a bit of cover up. So you mean flimsy like that? Like, how you doing? I don't know. He might be. Who knows? Yes, to me, it is perverted. Otis, how you doing? He says, what? Carmen says, is Shannon the freak of the week? He might be. D, how you doing? Says nothing disgusting about it. It's legal. It's legal. In my opinion, it's disgusting. I think it's perverted for a 56-year-old man to be doing that to a 20-year-old woman. She's OnlyFans, so maybe that's kind of her niche. I don't know. I think it's a little on the perverted side. I'm not even gonna bite my tongue and say, well, to me, I'm not saying to y'all, not to them or to them. I'm saying to me, it's perverted. Nyla says these black men will never learn, regardless of his intent. I want to say that white men get caught up in this too. White men, Asian, Mexican men, they all get caught up in this. So it's not a black man thing, I want to say. But he says that regardless of his intent, he threatened a woman. She says he did. Okay. It says shaking my head. Jonathan Majors had a video of his girlfriend chasing and beating him. Nevertheless, he was convicted and his acting contracts were nullified. Ezekiel Elliott says Dallas Cowboy running back Accuser stated it doesn't matter if you're a celebrity football star. He says, I'm a white woman. So the black man threatening a woman is a serious issue. Yeah, if he did that. Now I heard the recording, but that recording could have been from anything. That recording could have been that maybe they were cosplaying. And he says there's a longer version of it. They snipped it out. And hell, let's keep it buck. There's a lot of deep fake stuff going on now, a lot of AI and all of that. So, that all needs to be lined up in court. But Nyla, I hear what you're saying. But if he did all of that, why she ain't call the police? Why she going straight for the jugular with 50 million? Not 50,000, but $50 million. I'm just saying. LaShonda, you says, just left Walmart. How funny when I say Walmart. Did you see Shannon in there? Aaron says, it may be legal, but it's still disgusting. I co-sign that. Free thinker. How you doing? Says, minding my black business, he'll learn one day. I totally agree, but then maybe he won't. Some people, they never learn. Ronnie says, a hard pee and a wet vagina doesn't have a conscience. Yeah, I agree, but that's why you got to be using this head up here. If you a man, use this head. Even a woman, use what's up here. If I had that kind of money and reputation and stuff, I'd be like, damn, what's this gonna cost me? If I'm out here with this young woman, and I'm sure maybe they're understanding. I'm sure they were clear. I'm sure Shannon probably never told her, hey, I'm gonna marry you. Yeah, I can see your future with you. He probably never did. But for whatever reason, when he cut her loose, because I'm sure that's what happened, she was like, oh, not so fast, sucker. Mad Dog, how you doing? Hope you're doing well. He says, trying to find out. He says, Tracy Ellis Rostow. She says she'd like to date younger men. I don't know how much younger these men are. She's 52. I think she's 52. That younger man could be 40. So I don't know. If she's dating men that's 20, yeah, she's a pervert too. This is not about a gender thing. To me, if you are in your 50s or, you're dating someone significantly younger, in their 20s, hell, 2 years before that, she was 18. 3, she was 17. If it's a woman, yeah, you a pervert too. Joel Chief, how you doing? Says, Unc caught with his pants down with this one. Yeah. King Noble says, Shannon Sharpe was telling Deion Sanders in Shadow Shosingo about his sex life. Deion jaws drop. Yeah, so he's very open about it, right? But, I don't know. Azelius, how you doing? Says, hey, I'm late behind Demetra. Yeah, we're gonna get out of here. I'm gonna give y'all about 5 more minutes. I can rest my voice for later on at 5 p.m. Central Time. We'll be back here. Priscilla, how you doing? Jersey City in the building. You probably want to hear talking to her like that. Yeah, because it sounds like that's what she said that in a text message. She says, I want you to put a dog collar around my neck and choke me while you're. So I'm quite sure that's how they talk, and some people talk like that when they're doing that. They're not serious. Some people are into that, snatch me bald. But of course, that's people wearing a wig, right? I don't really be snatching no plugs out my head or whatever. But you're playing, I guess. So I think that's probably what happened. I can't say for sure because I wasn't there, but I want to say if I had to bet, I really bet that he didn't do any of that to her, not maliciously. Some of that was probably done out of, role playing and, all of that, the kink, if you will. I don't think he did it. I think he's being shaken down, but I think the ultimate shakedown is you being silly. You have something to lose. And even men that don't have anything to lose, you got to watch it, watch yourself, which is why I say in the nation, settle down to a good choice. Settle down. Get you a good woman to sit down somewhere. Ladies, get you a good man to sit down somewhere. And that'll avoid all of that. And when you get you a good woman, sit down. Don't be running around, still bed hopping. Same thing for women. Sit down. Just sit down. Okay? There's nothing else out there for you. Sit down. And Brother Phil talks about this a lot. In that you notice when men have something, whether they got money or they're business owners or they're just upwardly mobile, they have a wife. And men with wives live longer. You might be wondering why. Why do they live longer? Because they ain't out there skirt chasing. They got a woman that's probably at the house that's making good meals. She's taking care of them. Hey, babe, it's time for you to go to the doctor. Come on. She's there just making sure everything is just less stressful, right? But men that are not married and still running and chasing and yeah, y'all tend to not live that long. And if you do, you probably have some health issues. But successful men settle down with a woman because they know that makes them more successful. You think about LeBron James or anybody else like that, Steph Curry. They got women they've been with forever. I ain't heard too much about them. Now I've heard some rumblings about LeBron. None of that's ever proved. I don't know, but nevertheless, he's still married. He's got a woman, and he's a billionaire now, close to it, if not over. He's got a woman, and he's probably more successful because he ain't running around chasing women all when he ain't chasing a ball on the court. So I don't know. Let's see here. Who else came on here? Hey Tracy, how you doing? Hope you're doing well. Nubian King, what's going on with you? Says, let me keep this thing 1,000. Y'all know Sharpe is buying that hot catfish. Says he told her that he would buy her some boobs. Yeah, that is alleged in the lawsuit. Yep, but he didn't do it. She got mad. Now the rest is our story. Phone conversation. Yeah, I agree with you. Yeah, he didn't. Buy the lady some boobs. It ain't gonna cost you nothing. To send her to the DR. Get her some boobs, double, triples, eye boobs, whatever she's looking for. And that wouldn't cost you nothing. So if that is true, you said you was gonna buy the lady some boobs and you didn't, and that kind of make you a grifter. You hopped up and down on this woman, didn't fulfill what you said you were gonna do, if that is what happened, and now she's mad. So yeah. And I don't know, just it wouldn't have cost you. You would have never missed that money, Shannon, if you did not buy her boobs and you said you was. Tracy says Tracy's last boyfriend was in his 40s, so he's old enough. Okay, he's old enough. She's 40, 50. She's 52. Last boyfriend was in his 40s, so we ain't talking about no 19-year-old, Keisha Cole style. Now that right there, yeah, you talk about a man in his 40s. So, hey Donovan, how you doing? He said, down with the Demetri K show. You could try. D says, Tracy dated in the 20s too. So I don't know. Dwayne, how you doing? Says she got the same lawyer who was trying to tear down Jay-Z and P. Diddy. Yeah, he's in there. Ross says, some men don't want to age gracefully. Maybe that's why they mess with the young ones. Yeah, and then the young ones end up messing with them, right? Pop says, well, I'll be dead soon now. I'll keep hope alive. Hey, James, long time no see. How you doing? Says Tony Buzbee. That name is popping up way too much. Yeah, he about to really ruin his reputation because it's like, come on, man, you ambulance chasing. And as Shannon said, you're going after successful black men. But y'all black men successful know that they do that. Why are you putting yourself in that situation? Azaleas, he says, that's right. Sit down is not better out there. Choice right as best as you can. Choose as right as best as you can from the start, and then stay with that person. God will bless you even though you will go through hard times. Yeah. Sit down. Jeffrey, how you doing? Says Shannon made a quick as video. He says it says Shannon made a video quick as hell. That's what you mean. Yeah, he did. He basically said, well, this is what Tony is going to do. He's going to release a snippet. And it sounds like they did, of part of a 10-minute video. So, Hey, Al, says Kyrie Irving said his life changed when he got married, had kids, and moved to Dallas. Yeah, because he sat down. Yeah, absolutely. Jeffrey says they reeled him in, and he fell for it. Sure did. Thank you, Donovan, for asking everybody to hit the like button. And if you guys see fit, there's some ways to help the channel even more. So at the bottom there of the screen. Thank you. Pop says, Judge, Mr. Sharpe, but that woman, you crazy. He says her titties. He never bought them for what she's saying. Hey, average logical thinker, how you doing? Hope you're doing well. Jeffrey says he liked them young, but them young girls all about the money. Yeah, and I think he knows that. But man, if he said he was gonna buy her some boobs, just do it, right? Otis says LeBron may not be chasing women, but the Laker owner Jeannie Buss was all on him, and he didn't stop her on live TV front row when he claimed he was hurt. Yeah, but he wasn't on her. He was on him. I think it's fair to say that LeBron seems like he's pretty faithful. I don't know all that LeBron and Savannah are doing, but they seem pretty happy, right? But he was smart. He sat down and got all that money, and he sat down. The average logical thinker says that part, don't set yourself up, rich black men. Yeah, at some point, you got to take accountability, right? Mission Vision, how you doing? Good afternoon to you as well. Azaleas, he says, sorry. Oops, that should have been. No, I got you. I got what you meant. Nubian King says Sharpe was getting ready to get $100 million. That's what somebody was telling me. $100 million deal. I feel they put this 304 damn to set up to this BS to stop him from getting that $100 million contract. Y'all know they hate to see a black man prosper. Yeah, if I was about to get $100 million contract, I'd have been in a bulletproof case until I signed the contract. I don't want to talk to nobody. I don't need to talk to. I don't want to eat nothing, drink nothing, go nowhere. I'm just sit still until the ink dries on the contract. That would have been me. But it sounds like he'd been messing with her for 2 years, almost. So I'm assuming within that 2 years, you would have this conversation about this $100 million contract, and yet you were messing with this 20-year-old. You said you were going to buy her some boobs, and you didn't. And now she's after you with Tony Buzbee. You know what, Pop? I can't stand you. Listen, I'm going to choke you. I'm kidding, of course. Shiloh, how you doing? Long time no see. Says marriage is work, single life is a struggle. Pick your struggle and don't say that nobody warned you. There you go. Marriage is work. Anybody who's been married for a long time will say, yeah, you know, we worked on it. Some people say, no, it was great. But I think most people say, yeah, it was, I wanted to, you know, her or him a couple of times, but I didn't. We got through it. And now we're 80 years old and we just sitting here drinking our, you know, lemonade and iced tea on the porch, and we're rocking back and forth and reminiscing and all of that, you know. But like I said, single people, it is a struggle because now you got to vet people, court people. You don't know what kind of foolishness they may be up to. Or it's a lot, right? So yeah, if you could settle down with somebody, do that. Do that. How you doing? Hope you're doing well. Mad Dog says LeBron not out here messing around. He's standing on business. Yeah, I think he's a good example in regards to keeping intact your family, marrying a good woman, sitting down, raising your children, because then now you can pass that example to your children. You know, it's refreshing. And we see there's a lot of them. So I want to say it's not a lot of black families, but it's refreshing to see black families, you know, intact. And it's sad that it's refreshing to see that because it used to be normal. But I love to see those things and not hearing about, you know, people getting in trouble like Shannon, right? Magnetter says some lawyer in 15 years from now is going to clip that part. I know, right? That's why I said I'm just playing, because I have threatened. Like I said, there's a couple people who could sue me, say, yeah, she threatens to choke me or do bodily harm to me at least once a week. Family and friends included. Mad Dog says Shannon got too thirsty. Yeah. But see, that's the other thing too. You know, it sounds like he's very open about his sex life at some point, and it sounds like he's on the freaky side. At some point, you're gonna have to reel that in. Just do that with one person, you know, because eventually that catches up to you. And there's this saying that there's never enough of more, right? So usually kinky people, from what I read, you know, the regular stuff is like, okay, that was cool, but what else you got? What else you got that this might be just a little, just more, just, you know, and then that doesn't do it after a while. Nah, I need you to be swinging from the chandeliers and I need you to jump down on me, you know. And if that's your thing, that's your thing. But I'm saying at some point that catches up to you, especially if you're doing that with a bunch of people. You know, tell your wife to put on a different wig. You know, maybe speak with a different accent or something. I don't know. I don't know. Swing around the bedroom pole. I don't know. But yeah, let me shut up. M says there's nothing like being grandparents together, man. I don't have no grandkids, so I don't know what that's like. But yeah, you're right. Nothing like it. And to your point, nowadays, it's like I'm going to my grandmama's house. And then after that, I'm going to go to my granddaddy's house. Back in the day, it was what? I'm going to my grandparents' house. Going to my grandparents' house because they were together. Now I'm my grandmama. Then I'll go see my granddaddy because they ain't together. You know, grandmama probably got a boyfriend. Granddaddy probably got a girlfriend. It's a mess, right? Gone are the big mamas and big papas that lived in the same house that smelled like mothballs. Rose, how you doing? Says LeBron at those Diddy parties. Yeah, he might be at the Diddy parties, but you know, what's he at them parties doing? I don't know. But LeBron is married. to Savannah. It sounds like they've been together for a very long time, with high school or something like that. So that, that's who he rocking and rolling with. I can't be mad at it. Now he might want to stay away from those parties if Diddy is free. Sounds like the case may be taking starting next month, if I'm not mistaken. Brother Don says yes, it's $100 million rack. Tony is a snake. His name is popping up too much, like that Gloria. Gloria already. Yeah, she was an OG ambulance chaser, wasn't she? She's older now. Her daughter, Lisa Bloom, is kind of doing it now. Emily says, Demetri, those text messages were off the chain. Yeah, and she 20. Talking about, I want you to put a dog collar around my neck and choke me while you're... It sounds painful. Oda says, I wonder, do Shannon like to be choked by LeBron? What? And why would you want... That's above my pay grade right there. King Noble says, Shannon being a Splackavelli. What's a Splackavelli? I know what a Machiavelli is, and I know what a... yeah, but I don't know what that one is. Yeah, Magnetic mothballs and tea. Because, they just felt like they needed mothballs in the house to keep the moths away. Pete says, hey, D, I have 19 grandbabies. Woo! 19 grandbabies. That's a lot of grandbabies. I don't have any. Not yet. Butterscotch candies, yep. And they was kind of, and then they didn't even have no wrappers on. A lot of times they were just in the same candy bowl stuck together. And they've gone through all kind of seasons, summer, winter, spring, fall. They've melded back together. And then if you want you a piece, you have to break off a piece that was stuck to another flavor or so. Yeah. Mm-hmm. He said Little Debbie snacks. Yes, R.I.P. grandma. But yeah, both of my grandmas are gone. My mom is gone as well. So yeah, I know how you feel. Em says, yeah, Gloria already is a hot mess. Hey, John, how you doing? So anyway, y'all, I overstayed my time by 16 minutes, almost 17 minutes. I'm going to get out of here so I can come back with Donovan at 5 p.m. Central Time. As y'all can hear, my voice is, so I'm going to rest it a little bit. I don't know. I'm going to ask y'all before I leave, what do you guys want to talk about? Is there anything out there that y'all want to talk about? Politics? There's a lot going on. Just haven't been in a news cycle today. So I'll give y'all about another minute before, so I can read y'all comments as to what y'all might want to talk about when we come back. Until then, I am going to get out of here, and I will see y'all later. Sunlight says you don't want to know that one. What we want to talk about? What? We'll put it in the comment section. I mean, I'm open just as long as it ain't nothing too, but I'm open. Says want to talk. No, I ain't gonna talk about math, Magnet. Are you tripping now? Because that'd be a very short conversation for me. 2 + 2 is 4. The end. Unless you're talking about some other math. Is that an acronym for something? Just wait to see what else you guys. Group economics. We could talk about group economics. We usually talk about that within the conversation. We could talk about it right now. Settle down to a good choice. One woman, one man, and you can save a lot of money keeping that black money in your black house and not on OnlyFans or, being a sugar mama or anything like that, right? You can build together. We keep the money in the house, build together. As Nipsey said, all money in, right? Put the black dollars in the black household and bam, we can build. There you go. Your Magnet says, let's all enroll in a math class together. I'm good. And now with these, listen, ChatGPT, what is A plus B times 57 divided by? ChatGPT gonna tell me. Anyway, it says, working a real agenda, ideas for real change. Stop talking about it, be about it. You know what? We could save that conversation for Walter. He's going to be on here tomorrow. He says that he is. And if he's not, guess what I'm going to do? I'm going to choke him. Group economics and boycotts. Okay. Nubian, says, let's talk about that pale boy who stabbed a Mexican in a school bathroom with a knife. No play for the media, but they're all over Carmelo. Yeah, I did see that. And I think it's very interesting. I think I'm wondering why the Hispanic community, yes, Case and Allison, I did see that. I'm wondering why the Hispanic community hasn't put boots on the ground to that one. That's what I'm wondering. Where are they at to speak about that? They're silent. But yeah, that boy, he had his life taken in the same manner as Carmelo, but and they're silent. And the folks that are up in arms about what Carmelo did in self-defense, they're silent about it as well. So, McNair says, exactly. I made way more progress learning math with, there you go, Chat GPT than these so-called professors. Come on now. Shallow says, my wife said he needs to pick one woman his age with class and partner it up. He says, it's good for a man's focus, emotional health, and other kinds of health to focus on his energy. They both have to want that. I totally agree with you. Magdalena says even calculus has made sense. Oh, I ain't took it that far on Chat GPT. Mission Vision says they want us to do it. Yeah, no, the Hispanic community need to put boots on the ground. They should. You know, Ross says, I don't feel sorry for Shannon. If he can manage his career, finances, etc., that same energy should be put into managing relationships. And on that note, we're going to go. So I'll see you guys back here in about 3 hours. So in the meantime, you guys have a great rest of your afternoon and stay tuned for a great conversation. Donovan will be here with us. Sunlight says the movie Sinners is a good topic for discussion. We could talk about Sinners, but a lot of people probably haven't seen it. But you know what? I may talk about it from a different standpoint, though. I'm gonna write that down. I don't want to give any spoilers away, but I saw it twice, so I think I'm kind of well versed on it to some degree. But I want to talk about it from a different standpoint. So we may do that. Anyway, Pete says math is not like it was when we were going to school. D, way different. Yeah, you're right. M says it was rumored that a Latino dude wanted his fight recorded in living color. Oh, I don't know. And Tracy says, I didn't watch it yet. I was going this morning. Yeah, y'all go watch it. It's good. M says, we'll be back. Notification willing. All right. So we'll be back at 5 p.m. Central Time. Set your timers for that. And maybe we'll definitely talk about Sinners. I do have a standpoint I want to come from. So anyway, I love and appreciate every last one of y'all. I will see you guys in just a bit. Peace.